Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Daisy. For today's video, I'm going to be reading my subscribers' paranormal encounters. So if you're interested, grab your snacks, grab your cobija, and let's get straight into it. So now let's begin with story number 1. Hi Daisy. So this scary story is not mine personally, but my mother's, and it has stuck with me ever since she told me when I was a little girl. So a little backstory, my mother grew up in a small rancho in Jalisco, Mexico. Now growing up, my mother didn't have a lot of money. In fact, they were very poor. They didn't have a bathroom. Most people at that time had a bathroom outside of their home, but my mother didn't even have that. So in order to take care of their personal business, they would have to walk several yards away from their home and into what my mom called the cerro, which is basically big over hills or mountains near their home. So one night my mom really needed to use the bathroom to urinate, and she had asked all her sisters to come with her into the cerro mountain to accompany her, though none of my tias wanted to since it was pretty late and they were all getting ready for bed. So my mom's plan was to go by herself. But once she got out of her room, she saw that her mom passed by the hallway and was heading out the door. Now, it's important to note that my mom didn't see my grandma's face, but she saw her body figure, so she knew it was her mom. She called out to her mom and asked if she was going to the bathroom, aka El Cerro, but my grandma never replied. At that moment, my mom thought maybe my grandma didn't hear her, but since she was already on her way out the door, it was so late she figured that my grandma was going to the bathroom. So my mom just followed her, that way she could use the bathroom too, since my grandma was on her way. My mom explains how she tried catching up to her mom several times, but my grandma was always a couple steps ahead of her. They walked deep into the mountains, so deep that my mom was beginning to question why my grandma was going so deep. She called out to her again, asking how further they were going to walk, since my mom really had to go, but my grandma didn't reply. She just kept walking. It got to the point that my mom couldn't hold it anymore, and she told her mom that she was going to pop a squat right there, where she was at. She said they were already far enough where no one was near and could see them, so she didn't feel the need to continue forward. But yet, my grandma never stopped, and she kept walking. My mom found it very strange, but she figured my grandma needed to go number 2 and just didn't want the stench to be anywhere near their home. So she watched as her mom went further and further to the point where she couldn't see her anymore. Once my mom was done urinating, she waited for my grandma to return. She called out to her, asking if she was done, but no answer. She waited a bit, but she began getting impatient and told her mom that she was going to start heading back to the house. My mom began walking and she made it home. She turned back, but she didn't see my grandma anywhere near, so she decided to wait inside for her. But once she got in, she saw my grandma was already inside. Puzzled, she asked my grandma when did she come back, since she never saw her walk past her. But my grandma frowned and said, "Come back from where?" My mom explained the whole story, and my grandma told her that she never had gone out to El Cerro. In fact, she was on her way right now. My mom was so confused. She tried arguing with my grandma, thinking she was playing a joke on her, but my grandma assured her that whoever she saw wasn't her. My mom waited for my actual grandma to come back seconds later from doing her business, and sure enough, she did. My mom asked if she saw anyone out there, maybe the lady she had followed, but my grandma said there was no one out there. Till this day, my mother doesn't know who or what she followed, and she wonders what would have happened if she had never stopped and followed it all the way through. Wow, that is very interesting. It's as if this lady was trying to lead her in a certain direction. Well, thankfully your mom did not follow it anymore, because who knows what would have happened. This story reminded me of the bathrooms of my Nina's house in El Rancho, my great-grandmother's house. Oh Lord, you knew to not use that restroom in the night. Like, it was no question. So the fact that your poor mother had to walk into the cerro to use the restroom, Now that is a whole nother level. Like, she took the cake on that one. So bless her soul, bless her heart, porque I could never. I would just, I don't know what I would do. But thank you so much, girl. This definitely brought some memories, but I just didn't experience that. Thankfully, I didn't. So now on to the next story. Hello, my name is Jackie and I have a few weird things happen to me. By the way, love your videos and I like to eat breakfast while I watch them. Thank you so much. I feel like you've welcomed me into your home. I appreciate that. That makes me feel just so warm inside when you guys tell me, like, wow, like, that blows my mind. But thank you guys so much. So story number 1. When I was 7, I was gifted a doll for my birthday. My cousin came over one day and she saw my doll and wanted to play with it, but I said no. She didn't like sharing her stuff. So we were fighting over it, and by accident we moved her arm and the doll screamed like if it was hurt. The most strangest thing is that this doll was battery operated and it had no batteries inside. We were both so scared. And I lived on the 4th floor of an apartment and I threw it out the window. Wow, what the heck? I've never heard of such things. I want to make a video dedicated of dolls, paranormal dolls, like haunted dolls, and this definitely just gave me the creepiest vibe just to think about that. We're definitely doing that video, okay? So stay on the lookout. So now story number 2 from Jackie. One day I went to bed like normal. Around 2:30 a.m. I woke up because I felt my bed shake like crazy. I thought it might be an earthquake. I woke up so fast and I share a room with my mom, but she was still asleep and I felt it move and was so scared. I didn't even sleep. What in the world? I needed more context. What the heck? Did you tell your mom? Like, did she feel something but she was sleeping? So I'm assuming not. Like, that's the creepiest feeling, like to feel like your bed shake or someone sit down on your bed just because it's so intimate. Like, that's your bed. But oh my gosh, creeps. Now the next story from Jackie. Like normal, I would get hungry and cook something for me and my brother to eat. This day I cooked pasta, and as I fixed me and my brother a plate to eat, I called my brother to come and eat, and I see that one of the plates start to move. I was so shocked. I pulled out my phone to see if I can capture it move, and I did. Here's the video. You guys, are you guys ready for this video? I'm not even ready. Let's look. You guys, I am shook. That video, the way it moved was so organic. No, like, what did you do, girl? Like, were you out of there? Like, what? Like, I need the context. Let me know what happened. Like, did you tell your brother? Did your brother, well, what did your brother say when he saw the video? I swear, I don't know what I'll do. I don't know what I'll do. I think I would get the hell out of there, to be honest. Jackie, thank you so much for sending me that video. Like, reading is one thing, but once you see it, once I saw it, that's just a different level. I can't wait for my mom to see this video because she's gonna be shook. My mom loves spooky things. Mira, she's my mom, like mother like daughter. But I can't wait for her to see it and be shook. Okay, so now for the next story. Hi, my name is Maite. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I'm 15 years old right now, and I'm pretty sure I have had some strange, maybe paranormal encounters. The first incident happened when I was about 5 years old. My house is pretty small with just 2 bedrooms, a single bathroom, and a shared living room and kitchen. There was like a wardrobe type of thing where my mom had all the fancy cups, plates, and bowls, and it had a mirror on it. I remember standing on a chair and just looking at the mirror, and I saw a shadow pass behind me with the scream mask. Thinking it was my older brother trying to scare me, I turned around, but he wasn't there. I walked to his room and asked him why'd he do that, and he said, "What do you mean? I was in my room the whole time." Now, the second incident was when my dad bought me a pink animatronic poodle toy where you press its paw and it would sing and dance. The minute I saw that toy, I got a weird vibe from it, and I didn't want to play with it. I felt pretty bad because my dad got it for me. So I asked my sister if she wanted it, and she said yes. Later that day, my older cousin came over for a sleepover with my sister, and the very next morning, she asked me, "Why'd you do that last night? That creeped me out." I asked, "What do you mean?" And she said, "Why'd you leave that toy poodle out? It started dancing." I told her I didn't, and that the toy was in the closet. What in the world? What the heck? Third incident was when I was about 12, 13 years old. I woke up in the middle of the night to use the restroom, and as I was using it, I heard my older sister calling my name. I heard it very clearly, but the thing is that my sister didn't live with me at that time. Me thinking my mind was just playing tricks on me, I ignored it. But that same night, I woke up not being able to move, knowing that I was in a sleep paralysis. I took a deep breath and calmed myself down. Once I got out of my sleep paralysis, I turned over to be faced with a blouse that had small flower prints. It wouldn't have been my curtains since they were plain white. Oh Lord, what the heck? That is creepy! Last incident was when I was in 7th grade. I was in my sister's room, who now lives with us, watching TV since she was out with friends. As I started to get sleepy, I turned the lights and TV off, tossing the remote at the end of the bed and fell asleep. Next thing I know, I woke up to another sleep paralysis, this time face to face with a shadow. It stared at me what felt like an hour. Soon it got up, walked somewhere, and then the TV turned on, walked back to me, looked at me, and disappeared. I was so scared, out of my mind. Once I got out of my sleep paralysis, I turned the lights on and the TV off, going to my mom's room to sleep there. I told my sister the next day, and she said, "It was just in your dream, don't worry about it." But it felt too real to just be a dream. Yeah, I have never experienced sleep paralysis, and I pray I don't ever, because it sounds like the most terrifying thing. Not only are you seeing this all unfold, but you can't even move, talk. No, that is my biggest nightmare, probably, to have no control and be so scared and terrified. Nope, not for me. So now for another story that Maite wrote in. Another incident was when my dog and me were just in the living room playing around. She never wanted me to go past or even near my sister's room. Anytime I would go near it, she would come running at me and would bite on my pants and try to pull me away. Even though she was just a miniature poodle, how cute! She was very determined to keep me away from that room. Later that night, I was just sitting on the floor on my phone, petting my dog until I heard something fall from my sister's room. My dog started barking. I took my phone and recorded it. She sent it in. Let's watch. Oh my gosh. So clearly by that video, your dog is seeing something. And it's not giving me a good vibe just because she's growling at it. Like, ooh. And the fact that she is tugging you, like she doesn't want you to go in that room. It's like, no girl, like something bad is in there. She's trying to warn you. I wonder if your sister has felt anything bad, or does she feel anything at all in her room? I would love to know. But anyways, let me just continue with my this story. This happened when I was in middle school, a day or two before my birthday. Speaking of that, once my birthday came, I was sitting in front of my sister's door. Me, my brother, his girlfriend, and my older sister were all in the kitchen talking, laughing, nothing too crazy, just catching up. Until I drank my water and suddenly started choking. My brother started patting my back, but it didn't work. I was really panicking since I couldn't stop coughing and I was running out of air. Once it stopped, I was relieved. My siblings started making jokes about it and I started laughing, but in the back of my mind, I was terrified. I don't know if it was just a coincidence that I started choking in front of my sister's room or something wanted it to happen. Well, that's my story. Me personally, I don't think it's a coincidence that you started choking in front of your sister's room just because of the history of your sister's room. There's definitely something there that is negative lingering around. The fact that it was in front of your sister's room, it's like, But girl, thank you so much for writing in and sharing that video with us. Listen to your poodle. Your poodle is not lying. Acá no, but seriously. So now moving on to the next story. On to the kukui stories. Yes, I love this. Okay, I have a lot of them and it seems like I have been living with ghosts all my life. I will start off with the most recent ones because me and my brother and sister all experienced them. The house we lived in as kids, in fact, my sister still lives there, is haunted. I have always believed that the spirit of someone who has passed can linger after they have left the earthly existence. Well, we were all visited by the spirit of our mother. My mother passed away a year ago. I am so sorry for your loss. My sister had gotten a baby monitor so she could hear my mom call her in case she needed help. Well, because my mom passed away, my sister left her room just like it was. I told her no rush to change it or move things around and to do it when she was ready, since she was the one who lived with our mom. Well, one night, like a week after my mom passed, my sister woke up. She heard my mom call her. So, my sister got up and went to my mom's room. It was an automatic response. She was so used to jumping up and going when my mom called. And well, the room was empty. My sister goes back to her room and starts to cry. You know, missing my mom and stuff. And she is thinking it was in a dream she heard my mom call her. She's sitting there. She hears my mom again. And it's the baby monitor she had on her nightstand. She is freaked out, but she says she wasn't scared too much. So she goes back to my mom's room and the baby monitor in my mom's room is not turned on. So she unplugged it and said out loud in the room, "Mama, I'm fine. Don't worry about me." And then she booked it back to her room. She asked me, "What should I do?" I told her, "Pull the baby monitor out of your room and mom's room and put them away or give it to someone who needs a baby monitor." She says she heard my mom one more time after that. She heard my mom's walker in the hallway. She told my mom again that she was okay and that she could go rest. She hasn't heard anything since. My story is a few weeks after my mom died. I was trying to get back to my routine. I work from home, so I was at my desk and well, I missed my mom and I was emotional and I was crying hard. I had my back to the door of my office and I swear I heard my mom clear as day say, "Ya párale, stop it." It scared the crap out of me. I'm not easily scared by anything, especially the paranormal. I was scared to turn around and I said out loud, "I can't help it, I miss you, mommy." I pulled myself together, stopped crying, and turned around. There was no one there. I have a shelf in my office and I have a little shrine on it and I noticed all the candles were out. I relit them and I promised my mom I was going to try and not to be sad, but that she needed to understand that I missed her and that I'm crying because I loved her so much. I keep the candles lit on my altar for my mom all the time now. I haven't heard her since. Next, my brother said my mom visited him not too long after she passed. He said he was in the kitchen one morning. He had been thinking of our mom and went and sat at the dining table and was crying. And then when he looked up, he saw my mom sitting at the other end of the table, and all she said was Spanky, which was the name she called my brother when he was little. He was freaked out. He went and woke up his wife to tell her, and she told him it's probably because your mom doesn't want you to be sad, and that her spirit can't rest until she knows you're okay. I gave my brother a copy of a picture of my mom, and she was young, and a copy of a picture of our parents right after they got married. They look so young and scared, lol. I told him I bet that's what they look like in heaven, young and healthy in their prime. I told him when he felt sad just to look at the pictures and think they are together and are happy. He hasn't seen my mom or heard her since. Thanks, Sandy. Wow, that was so touching. I'm so sorry for both of your losses, your father and your mother. I just can't even imagine losing such a loved one like that. Like, let me not even think about my mama, like, you know, that's not. But the fact that all three of you guys got closure from your mom, I hope that gave you some sense of comfort in that difficult time of grieving, especially being so soon to her passing. I hope that made you guys feel at least somewhat at peace. But thank you so much, Sandy, for sharing such a personal, such an intimate experience of your mother. I'm pretty sure it was difficult to even write in that story and reflect on it. So I really appreciate you writing in. So now on to the next story. Hi, I'm Maki. In my uncle's hometown, which is a very rural area, has many legends of paranormal things. It has this pond and a tree on the east side of it. No one dares to go even near that tree, not even during the day, let alone at night. One day, the woman who used to work for my uncle's mom was washing clothes near the pond, and she had a small kid with her. That kid was maybe 4 years old. When the lady was washing the clothes, she wasn't paying attention to her kid, and the kid went near that tree. Fast forward to 30 minutes later, the kid is missing. The kid's mom is looking everywhere, and she literally called everyone screaming for help. All the men came out to look for the child, but no sign of the child. An hour later, they found the kid's body floating on the water, almost in the middle of the pond. When they got the body, they were mortified. His face was so deformed and butchered, and he had marks of claws on his face. This could never have been an animal because there was no animal anywhere near the pond because of all the houses. That tree is known to have jinns. Basically, not living things. Jinns are made of fire and are very hairy and very tall. The jinns don't let anyone near that tree because that's their house. To this day, the tree is there. And also, I want to mention that that tree wasn't even that far from where the kid's mom was washing clothes. I need to do more research about jinns. I heard a podcast a while back, and they were speaking about jinns, and it was so scary. So when I do my thorough research, I'll try to make a video for you guys. How does that sound? But thank you so much, Mahi. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, but thank you so much for writing in. Now on to the next story. Hi Daisy, I've had many encounters and I am very sensitive to the spiritual world. I'm going to just tell you one of my experiences. I've always been interested in the paranormal. I was watching a TV show about the Linda Vista Hospital in downtown LA. I was so intrigued about the stories there, I started looking up the history. One particular story that stood out to me and I couldn't get off my mind was about a well-known gangster in his community who had gotten shot and the doctor couldn't save him. And members from his gang had killed the only doctor that would work there while he was walking to his car in the parking lot. Yes, they say the doctor still roams there trying to help people. They say that the gangster spirit is so angry still to this day and still roams in the hospital. I read so many stories that had happened in this hotel, but for some reason I couldn't stop thinking about who was that gangster. What was his name? Where was he from? Etc, etc. I did so much research and couldn't find anything. I would stay up late hours of the night trying to find information about him. It was like I was obsessed to find out. Not too long after, weird crazy things started happening around my house. One time, I was asleep and I had just had my son. He was 2 months old. I woke up to the garbage disposal being on. No one was home but me and my 2-month-old son. I would hear things in the restroom late at night, like if somebody was in there using it. I would wake up hearing my name all the time. Sometimes I would be watching TV during the day and my whole power would go off. I would ask my neighbors if their power was off and they would say no. I would look in my power box and everything would be completely turned off. And I know it was impossible because the power box was in my restroom. After experiencing so many encounters, I stopped looking him up. I felt like he knew. After I stopped looking him up, things started to calm down. I tried to forget about Linda Vista Hospital and the stories related there. One day I got lost trying to go to the beach, which was weird because I've always gone to the same beach and never gotten lost. I was so confused on how I got lost. I pulled over to my Google Maps and I looked across the street from where I pulled over, and I was in front of Linda Vista Hospital. It was like it wanted me to be there. I felt in my gut that I wasn't there on accident. I was meant to be there. To this day, I still go there and visit outside. Right across the street is a really pretty park. I'll sit there and just look at what used to be a hospital. They recently made it into an elderly home. But I learned that you can start something and not finish it. So be careful what you open your mind to. When you said you got lost on your way to the beach and arrived at the hospital, all I imagined was someone just pulling you towards that hospital, and I wonder why. I wanted to research the hospital, but you know what, never mind. But thank you so much, girl. This was very interesting, to say the least. So now for the last story of the night. Well, I mean my night. Hi Daisy, my name is Pablo. I wanted to share a scary story with you. I'll only share one for now because I have a lot. All the stories I'll eventually share happened in the little town where my family and I are from, located in Michoacan. Saying that this ranchito is a literal beacon for the paranormal would be an understatement. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not sure if it was built on top of a portal or something, but it has everything. Ghosts, hellhounds, aka El Perro Negro, a black dog, chaneques, shapeshifters, banshees, ghostly horsemen, allegedly the devil himself, and yes, even aliens. The story I'll share today happened to my dad when he was 16 years old. My dad and a good friend of his were on their way back home from another small town that was only a few minutes away. My dad remembers that it was almost midnight when they arrived at a part of the road that people would always say was allegedly haunted. They felt fine going through it at first because they had walked through there countless of times during the day and nothing ever happened. The major difference this time, however, was that it was night and a storm was about to hit, so the road was darker than usual. My dad's friend was going as fast as possible to get through it quicker, when all of a sudden they both heard a big dog charging at them. My dad says that they never saw the dog, but they could hear it gasping heavily, like what a dog sounds like when it runs, and they could hear the paws hitting the dirt road. My dad started telling his friend to speed up because he could feel the dog's breath hitting the back of his leg, as if the dog was only inches away from them. During the chaos, my dad remembered that he was carrying a handgun. He wanted to shoot at the dog while his friend drove the bike, but he felt paralyzed. So he told his friend to stop the bike so he could get a good shot at it. His friend was hesitant at first, but finally decided to go along with the plan. His friend quickly stopped the bike and my dad jumped down to get ready to shoot. They could still hear the dog running towards them, and when it sounded as if the dog was about to reach them, everything went extremely calm and quiet, and no dog appeared. My dad says the silence felt eerie AF, and even the storm winds stopped blowing, which was bizarre. After that, they decided to quickly get out of there, and when they were finally out of the haunted section of the road, they heard a dog howling in the distance, and they both felt chills all over their body. To this day, they still can't explain why they heard and felt the dog, but never saw anything. Thank you for sharing. There's a lot of more where this came from, by the way. LOL. Take care. Oh my god, I need to know all of the stories. I've never heard of such thing. What the heck? ¿Dónde estoy? Like, where am I? Am I living under a rock? Wow. Yes, please, Pablo, send more. I would love to hear them. Please, please. I'm literally begging you, because how you said it too, like, dang, like I felt like I was there riding the bike with him. I need to hear all the stories from there, all the stories that you have, your family has, because if they're this good, then I want to know all about them. But thank you so much, Pablo, for sending in that juicy paranormal supernatural story. Thank you so much. So that was it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any paranormal encounters that you want to feature in this video, make sure to write it in daicyspooks@gmail.com. I'll leave everything in the description box so you guys can go and email your guys' stories. But thank you guys so much in advance, and thank you to everyone that has written in. It means a lot to me. Even though I can't read everyone's, just know I am super grateful for you guys. So thank you guys so much. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.